Hey there, it's Julie Hutchison here from Think, Be, Do Leadership, and it is day 5 of Team on Fire, a month of looking at how to create performance in your team, not just in your own team, but for your team of teams. So if you have a group of managers that are within your team that need to step up, then we need to look at that as well. How do we get that team on fire? So where are we? Day 5, which is why won't they just do what I've asked? And that's what we want to talk about today, is like that frustration of you think you told them what you wanted them to do. You thought they were going to get on with it. You left them to it. You thought you delegated really well and you think it's really simple. So it should be easy. The outcome should be that they just get on with it, shouldn't it? Should it? And the reason why we're talking about this today is because I was talking to a lovely lady I know who is amazing at what she does. And she has built her business and she now has a team of people. And yesterday expressed exactly this issue, this frustration with her team over like, oh my goodness, I thought they were doing it. I went on a holiday and they didn't do it. And she's just a tad upset, let's say. And, you know, kind of quite right too, really, I suppose. So I've got an itch. What we want to look at today is what went wrong, who is to blame, let's say, and what we can do to make it right. So if you want to step up as a leader, if you have a team and you need them to perform, you need them to do what you want them to do, or even do more than that, then you're in the right place. So if you're listening live, do say hello. And if you're on replay, put hashtag replay in any of your comments. So here we go then. So what's this all about? Why don't they just do what I asked them to do or what I said to do? So it may be that you've got your business really well laid out and there's a standard operating procedure, SOP, for everything, or it's a little bit more fluid than that, but you have a team of people who you rely on to do the right thing. And you really, really want them to just get on with it. When you say, can you go and, I don't know now, complete the spreadsheet? I've not got a very good mind today of different exciting things to do, but completing a spreadsheet we'll have to do. So they know how to do it, you think, and it's simple and you need it done by tomorrow, then they should just get on with it. Or another example might be that you're running a training tomorrow and you want to remind people that they are due to come along to that training. They've signed up for the free masterclass, for example, and it's going to be really interesting. So you want to be able to send out to people a reminder. And you say to the team, don't forget to get that done, will you? And the person says, of course not. I'm going to get Bob to do it. And you go, brilliant, right, okay, great. And it falls out of your mind because you think you've sent that off in the right direction and you don't worry about it anymore because you're now focusing on what you've got delivered tomorrow. But it doesn't happen. And that's what we're talking about today. That frustration of why did that not happen when it is such a simple task, an easy task that they should, love that word, is the bane of my life, that they should be able to do. They ought to have done that. Yeah. So they must be doing it on purpose, maybe, you think, or it feels like it, or they may just be, maybe they're a bit stupid. I don't like that word either. Or incapable or anything other than that it could be your fault. Because it can't be you, can it? It can't be you. It can't be us as a leader. It can't be us. But maybe it can. And that's what I want to look at today is when we are the boss, how is it that we could set people up to fail? How could it be something that we need to do or we need to look at differently to see if we could have done something differently? Okay. And maybe it's about how I need to show up. So one of the things we were talking about yesterday was that it feels so annoying. And if you were doing it yourself, it would be really easy. And so you can't see how it could possibly have gone wrong. And so I'm not going to name this person. I'm going to call her Felicity, just for Felicity's sake. And so what we were saying was, well, Surely they would have told me if they didn't know how to do it. Surely they would have said if they didn't know what to do. Surely they would have done it if they would have said to me, I don't have time. All these things, surely they would have done. This belief that they would have done the right thing, they would have managed to do something. And reality is you can ask yourself the question, well, actually that's good thinking on Felicity's part there. If you think, well, they would have told me if they couldn't do it, wouldn't they? But actually not necessarily true for a number of reasons that we need to understand. So let's just look at that a second. If we think about the reasons why people don't do what we want them to do, I always say there's 3 reasons that it doesn't get done. Okay. There's either they can't do it, okay, like they don't know how to do it, or they just can't do it for some reason. So it's not that they're not trying, but they just don't seem to know how to do it or what to do. Then there is they won't do it. And what I mean by that is that they won't do it because of the relationship they have with either you or somebody else in the team. So this is the arms folded moment of I'm not going to do that. I choose not to do it, even though I could. Okay. So there's a little bit of emotion coming out. There's I don't want to do this for you. Okay. And then there's another kind of won't do it. And I call that don't do. And that is where they say, well, it's not about you. And I think you're a great gal or a great guy. It's just that I don't believe it should be done. Or I don't believe it should be done like that. Or I don't believe that that's the right thing to do. So what that's about is much more about I don't believe in the cause, the reason why we're doing the thing we're doing. So it's not about you. They think you're a nice person or they like you as a boss. But they don't like, let's just say, oh gosh, now I've got to think of an example. Let's just say I was in the police. So say I was supposed to go and do a stop and search on little Billy over there in the corner. And I'm like, I don't think that's right because I don't think I've got reasonable grounds. And then and the boss says, just go and do it. And you're like, no, I'm not going to do that because I don't think it's the right thing to do. So I might like my boss. I might think he's a pretty all right person or she, but at that point, I'm not going to do that. Okay. So there's can't do, won't do, and don't do. And so if we want to understand why the thing never happened, what we have to understand is which one of those 3 is it? And then underneath those 3, there's more detailed reasons of how that splits out. Okay, so let me give you an example. I'm going to go to can't do here because this is where I think that we were talking about yesterday and it was quite interesting with Felicity. What was coming out. So in can't do, there is the physical, like, I don't know how to do it. So if you've never driven a car before and somebody says, go drive that car, you have no idea how to do that. Yeah. That's a bit of can't do, but there's another one. So say, for example, you have learned how to drive a car and you just learned and you've just passed your test and your boss says, right, okay, I want you to drive to Scotland today on the motorway. In fact, this happened to me actually. I had to go to Wigan when I first went to university. When I left university, actually, it was my first job. And I had to go on the motorway on the M6. And I didn't really want to go because I didn't feel comfortable and I didn't feel confident. So even though I knew how to drive the car, I didn't feel confident in driving or doing something different, let's say driving on the motorway for me, or I didn't know how to do it if it went a bit wrong, or I wasn't entirely sure and I didn't really want to do it on my own because I was terrified, probably, say the least. And all of those things. So actually what we're talking about here, let's take it into business, is when somebody kind of knows what they should be doing, but doesn't have the confidence to make good decisions. And good decisions can come from a number of different reasons why people do or don't know. But generally, if they're not confident or they're anxious or they're terrified of doing the wrong thing. And this is where we were coming out yesterday. We were talking about, well, what happens if, yes, you know how to do it, but they are a little bit tentative. They're a little bit difficult. They find it a little bit difficult, but you're going, come on, I want it done. Or you've left them, you've delegated, or maybe even abdicated, and they're not sure. Now, you know that when you're not sure about something, what do you do generally? Yeah, not that many people in the world, some, yes, will go, oh, stuff it, we'll just do it anyway. Most people tend to do nothing. Okay, if you're not sure, people will do nothing. So I'm not sure about how to do that. I think I'll put that to the bottom of the pile. Yeah, because I'm not sure, I'm not confident, and I don't want to make a mistake. And Felicity's really kind of raging if I do make a mistake. So it was easier for me to just hide and not do that thing. So when people don't have confidence, even if they technically could do it, when they haven't got the confidence or they're anxious about your response, then maybe they're choosing to ignore it or not do it because of the consequence as they see it, is the consequence of not doing it is less than the consequence of doing it and getting it wrong. Okay. So if we're not confident, then we aren't going to do it. And so as a leader, we need to understand, hold on a second. Are they confident? Are they actually capable of making good decisions in the business? Are they capable of doing it on their own, not just with somebody? And looking at the real reason underneath the one that's showing, what's the word? Superficial reason. The one that's out there going, oh, this is the reason, I just didn't do it. I didn't have time. And actually, when you look and you ask the question, the leader, okay, tell me, you seem like you could have been done, you didn't get done. Can you tell me why? And then when you find out the real reason because you listened, then you can understand, oh, was that a can't do reason really? Okay. Not a just I haven't got a clue, but a can't do as in either maybe does need some skills, does need some coaching, does need some confidence, or removing that anxiety of performance. Okay, so there's one. But what about then the other one? Well, let's do don't do. Okay. So don't do is an interesting one, because sometimes you think, oh, I've asked them to do something reasonable. That's the way I would do it. And they're like, I think that is a stupid way of doing it. This used to happen all the time in the police because people have been there a long time. And they were like, oh, fraught with danger. Don't want to do it like that. And you'd ask somebody and you think that you're going to get what you got, and they won't do it because they don't think it's the right thing to do. And so this is a bigger conversation, because you've got to deal with, well, are they, one, right for the business? Two, can you persuade them that it's the right thing to do? Or three, can you listen to them and see, why do you not think it's the right thing to do? Depends on what level you're talking about. But what you need to do is you need to uncover that issue of, like, it doesn't matter how good they are. They may be able to drive their car to Wigan, but if they choose not to because they think, the prize isn't in Wigan, it's in Southampton, then they're not going to go. They are going to find a way of not doing it. Okay. So we need to uncover what's the real reason here, why they don't do it, why they choose not to do it. And then, of course, finally, last but not least, probably the biggest reason, is the other one. The won't do is, I won't do it for you. Okay. And now it might not even be as conscious as that. It might be fairly subconscious. But if you are the sort of person that hasn't built the bridges with people, hasn't created relationships, and doesn't have a good trust level with your team members, then they may choose that, although they could and they know how and they kind of believe in the cause, well, actually, it doesn't matter because you irritate them, or you scare them, or and we're talking about the anxiety and the not the confidence. This is where that actually crosses over, because if they look at you and think, I'm not sure of how that's going to be, and that reaction, I don't trust her or him to not shout at me or stab me in the back if I'm going to try something new or do something a bit different that I might not be that good at, then I'm going to choose not to do it. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so if you're going to choose not to do it, it's choosing because of something that you are showing up with. Okay. The behavior that you display, the things you say, the way you act, the way you respond to them, something like that. So when you're looking to get your teams on fire, as leaders, what you need to do is you need to look inwards as well as outwards. Yes, you need to know. I mean, there might be some little lazy tyke who just comes and wants to sit there chewing gum and whatever. Hello, Katie. So Katie said she's been guilty of the not for you position. Oh, yeah. What, they won't do it for you, or you felt like you don't want to do it for that person, Katie? Which way round? Or both, in fact. Probably most people at some point will have that. Even when you think you've got a good relationship, there's always one person that you don't have a good relationship with for some reason or another, which needs to be dug into, because otherwise you're going to end up in this situation. So yeah, it's a tricky one. Okay, Katie, so I don't know. Oh, for that. So you won't do it for that person. Katie, it doesn't surprise me, let's just say. But we're all like it. I mean, I had a boss in in the police. I'm not going to name this person again. I can't name anybody. They might get very upset. But she was, to me, was horrid. Didn't like anything it did. Didn't like the way I did it. Moaned if I put the radio on. But I needed energy around me. So I needed the radio on. I needed people. I needed to say hello. And she didn't like that because she wasn't a people person. So she didn't need to say hello. She never asked how you were. She just wanted to get on with your work and wondered why I had zero energy, lost interest, didn't want to do it for her. Yeah. Looking back, I can see the differences now. I learned an awful lot. And I probably could have dealt with that differently. But it ended up leading to a place where I had to go. I had to get out of there because I wasn't going to do it for her. Yeah. She was nasty. Anyway, so there's the 3 reasons, yeah, can't do, won't do, or don't do. I'm just not going to do that because I don't think it's the right thing to do. We need to understand if we are the boss or we are a leader within a business, we have to understand which one of those do I think is the jigsaw puzzle piece that's missing when I'm asking this person to do what I'd like them to do. And when you uncover that, suddenly you get to a point where you're like, yeah, okay, I can change. Because what we know is that behavior breeds behavior. So if I change what I do, then probably that will change what the other person does. So Katie there, she says she's been guilty of, I don't want to do it for you. Katie, I am going to take your comment off now because that would be rude of me to leave it on for all this time. But if Katie says, I want to do it, then maybe if that person changed the way they showed up a little bit, and Katie might have been stunned at first, but then able maybe to have that conversation and they realize, oh yeah, we kind of been, we're just different. Yeah, okay, let's try harder. And then there would be a better relationship. Or if say, for example, it was the can't do because I'm not capable or confident, then that the boss needs to come down and show me how and give me the confidence to go ahead and say, actually, I don't know how to do it, but is it okay if I try? And then if the boss says, yeah, of course it is. Why don't you have a go? Come and we'll work it out together if you're not sure. That's a very different thing from somebody who says, why have you not done it yet? And just expects that person to be able to do it straight away. So it's all about the dynamic we are creating between people when we're asking them to do something or we're expecting that they do something. Because if we show up as like, this is easy, it's black and white, off you go, get on with it, then we're going to terrify half the room, pee off the other half of the room, and probably not get what we want. Which isn't the best of things. So that is what we train and teach and coach people in our Leaders Launchpad, in our communication programs, and in our Team on Fire group programs. So if you would like to find out more about how to make sure that your team is on fire and that you are putting those jigsaw puzzle pieces together, can't even say it, then give me a shout and we can talk about how we can get you and your team, if you need it, on the program. Really good for people who have a team of teams in that, you may be the boss, but you've got a group of leaders that you need to step up because you need to be able to step back out of your business a little bit. Okay, so give me a shout if that's you or you want some help or anything on here has resonated with you, then do please message me and I would be very happy to have a chat with you about how we can help you. Okay, take care. Thank you, Katie, as well for your comments. And we will see you tomorrow for day 6 of Team on Fire. Take care. Bye-bye.